No, no. We were talking about that was the
I'm Alright Jack.
I'm Alright Jack. Yeah, we were talking about that too. Actually.
I was saying to Mike that what I would expect it would be very, very unlikely that a film would be made along the lines of this one, in which the lead character is so tragically left alone at the end, and that just never seems to ever occur to people, much less. And I just was. That is what has stayed with me. It has penetrated with me quite strongly, because it's relative. We could not just because it in itself is strong, but because it's so unusual in my film going experience.
That's true.
I suppose there would sometimes characters die rather than be left there hanging.
In a way, that's almost a more compassionate.
It's easier.
Yeah.
I mean, dying is less. It's getting off the hook, really,
Right.
isn't it?
Right.
As I hope we will all discover in the fullness of time.
The way most drama will go is that a person will be shown to have certain issues that they are either going to overcome, work their way through, and then perhaps someone will come in, and at the end of Act One, and perhaps that person will assist in this effort.
To tell you the truth, Jeffrey, it's quite hard. There's no question that what you're saying must be true, but it's quite hard to, for me, certainly, probably for all of us, to just quite immediately take on board the huge span of what you're talking about in relation to all kinds of other films, I suppose I'm hard put to think that this film is particularly unique in that happening. I'm quite sure there are lots of, but then I think you'd have to be thinking about world cinema rather than English language.
It is the most frustrating thing about some nearly wonderful Hollywood films that do tidy it up at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the pressure just to neaten it, and it's so disappointing. Somebody's made a film that they've really feel passionate about and deeply about, and then compromise to make it into something else at the end.
We were having a comic conversation. I was having it with somebody the other day about what this film would be like if it had been interfered with by Harvey Weinstein or anyone. How the end, how would it
Yeah.
Somewhat taxes one's imagination, really.
God knows what.
Laughter all around.
Funeral and an engagement.
The thing is that whenever I meet anyone in real life with issues, alcohol issues, let's say, being a son of an alcoholic and a person who had vodka issues myself back in the mid-'90s, early to mid-'90s, I immediately figure, okay, that's going to be the end of that. We're not going to be socializing that much if there's a flagrant problem. Now,
Sorry.
Oh, good morning. My name is Jeffrey Wells. How are you?
Good morning. Sorry.
Sorry.
I felt like I was a plastic woman.
So we're just talking about alcohol issues, and I was about to say that a critic friend of mine says that people with issues it's more normal, it's more accepted, it's not seen as something that you have to either get away from. It's kind of part of the general social pattern, if you will, that it's accepted more in England than it is here. That it's not, people's warning lights don't go on as acutely.
I don't.
I mean,
I don't think that's true. I really don't.
You don't think that's true?
No,
okay.
I don't.
Because your characters are so, for the most part, fairly balanced and healthy, and all the. And I was just kind of wondering, particularly I'm sorry for forgetting his name, but the gentleman with the sort of portly gentleman. I'm sorry. And he's
portly gentleman.
If I were you two guys, I wouldn't really be seeking his.
But
It's
he's
an old friend.
an old friend. He's an old friend. We went to university.
I don't think that you're doing people any.
He is his old. Ken is Tom's oldest friend from
what
birth,
childhood,
Right.
really, from 3 years old.
But what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I don't think that you're doing anybody, a person with a real problem, any favors by enabling them, by embracing them and saying you're fine, just drink away, smoke away, and curtail your life.
He doesn't say he's fine. He says to him, "What are we going to do with you? We've got to do something."
Yeah.
And he is trying. He's saying, "Let's go away together and have a weekend away, and we'll go walking." And that he is. They are trying to, and in the same way that Jerry.
Jerry offers him some salad, but he doesn't want it.
No, but the way Jerry is going to offer, Jerry is trying to offer Mary at the end of the film. She's saying that you've got to empower yourself. It's about you taking responsibility for yourself.
I think it is.
Which is the only advice you can give somebody. We all know on a personal level that if you try and make somebody a child of yours, or anybody, you try and make them do something because it's what you want them to be. It doesn't work. You can only empower that person to see that they're maybe making some mistakes, but they have to sort it out for themselves. You can't eliminate people from your life because they have issues.
You can't prescribe adults, say you're a friend of mine, but you have to behave in such and such a way if you're going to come through our door. No. Particularly if they're old friends like that. They're as close as can.
But maybe we've missed the point of what you were saying.
No, I'm enjoying and taking it all in. I just think that alcohol is just pure poison. I just don't think there's
That's
any.
Not your question. That's not your question.
Yeah, I don't think that Tom and Jerry are happy that Ken is how he is, or that even that Mary drinks. I mean, I think that when they go to bed and they say she's getting worse.
Yeah.
But it's like, as Leslie just said, what do you do with someone who's got a drink problem? Because until they decide that they've got to do something about it, you can't make their decision.
Well, usually what makes people decide that they've got to do something is hitting bottom, usually.
But they have to hit rock bottom themselves. It doesn't matter what you say to them. I mean, I've got friends who are in AA now, but, before they got to that position, they had to get there themselves. They had to, change. Or, as you say, get rock bottom.
I agree. And my experience, which is very specific,
right.
with a particular person in my life who was really had to get to the very bottom before this person then sorted it out, and is now again like people who talk about in AA. But it's a very complex thing, but you know that because you've been there.
Yep.
And you have to. It's a balance of sustaining contact and relationships and things. I mean, you can always say, no more, I'm not going to see you again. And they might force them into rock bottom, but they'll also create a lot of other psychological problems.
But the moral dilemma, over and above the question of alcoholism, plainly the moral dilemma that at one level another year deals with, for Tom and Jerry, is, for people who are nurturing, who give, who care for people, there comes the problem, and it's very difficult, of where do you draw the line? When do you close the door? When do you say, actually, no, you've gone too far, we have to protect ourselves? It's very, very difficult, and that is one of the moral dilemmas of the film. Because, certainly so far as Mary's concerned, she does behave badly, she does get out of control and out of hand, in a sense. And yet, at the same time, all those caring instincts and motives are there on the part of particularly Jerry.
Incidentally, I just happened to be watching with a friend Stephen Frear's The Hit, and I didn't realize that you're the prosecutor in the very beginning. Are you not?
Yeah.
I just didn't know that you were in it. I just went, whoa,
I haven't seen that.
That's like 85 or something.
Earlier than that.
84, 87. Yeah.
I thought it was
before
earlier than that.
Earlier than that.
I think that's a lovely film.
Yeah.
I think it'd be 80.
Yeah. Really? Early 80s?
Before Ecstasy.
Did
you do it before?
No.